Good afternoon and welcome to Against the Public. It's Friday, September 22nd, 2023. We're going to do our first college football edition with a massive amount of games tomorrow. Great games. I mean, this is what we waited for. This is what we live for, and we're going to get it tomorrow. But the only 6-minute segment, changed it to 6 because 5 was a lie. 6 might be a lie too. It's probably closer to 7 minutes. We're the only segment that comes through early betting patterns by the public, tells you exactly where the money is going and where those wagers might be a little bit misguided. Today we're going to go through 5 games that have received the majority of the money or ticket bets, whether it's the spread or the total, and we're going to try to help you steer clear of losing tickets. Before we get to that, I like to go through some interesting notes. I got nothing but time, I guess, but so far in 2023, the public and the book are kind of neck and neck. In fact, the public has a little bit of an advantage, at least from a record-wise. They're 79, 73, and 1, good for 52% winners. Yeah, I said it's 52% winners because we know that doesn't turn a profit. Books are holding a slim 1.17 unit advantage on those wagers. An interesting nugget, kind of the numbers inside the number. Interesting, the teams that are favored between 9 and 17 points are 22 and 14 this year, 61% winners plus 6 units. And basically the reason for that is they're just better teams that are able to handle a manageable spreads that are covering at a decent clip. So just thought I'd throw that out at you if you want to apply that to a few games this year or this weekend. Right now at Pickdawgz, we're getting set for Saturday's games. I have 5 winners on the board. Check that, 4 winners on the board already. Virginia Tech and Marshall. We're going to follow that up with Texas Tech and West Virginia, Arkansas State, Southern Miss, and my top whale winner, the get-out game, Cal and Washington. Okay, let's get to the games at hand. First, starting with Rutgers at Michigan. Michigan minus 24. This movement didn't surprise me at all. The Wolverines open at minus 25. We saw 70% of the money being wagered on the Scarlet Knights, a program that is absolutely respected, and they've done an amazing job there turning that program around. Jim Harbaugh, as you know, is back on the sidelines, and he's a guy that's going to have a chip on his shoulder for sure, and he's going to want to flex his muscles a little bit. He is also a coach that is very good against the number, covering 19 of his last 26 games. Michigan has yet to cover this season. They will cover this game against Rutgers. Game number 2, Auburn, Texas A&M minus 9. They're up to minus 9 after 75% of the money came in on A&M. I know 3 wins for the Tigers, and the 3 wins for the Tigers are not very impressive, but there's a really good start and great scheduling. Well, these were scheduled years ago, but it fell into right format when you're introducing a new coach like Hugh Freeze. The first test is going to obviously come against the Aggies. If the Tigers can stay clear of turnovers, which has been an issue this year so far, they will cover this giant line and also maybe be in line for an upset win. Game number 3, New Mexico, UMass. UMass minus 3.5. Yep, sure know how to pick the best games on the board. Public loves themselves some Minutemen after this number was bet up from 2.5 to 3.5 with 61% of the action on UMass. The Lobos just lost a home rivalry game to New Mexico State. Neither program is great. I'm not putting my money behind UMass ever, even if they're playing New Mexico State, who is absolutely, arguably the worst bet in college football, but we'll go with it. But I digress on that. UMass is 26, 40, and 1 ATS since 2017. 15.99 units lost if you put your money on UMass in that span. But when I have to give up points, that is really hard for me to do with UMass, even against New Mexico. And I'm aware the Lobos are really bad against the spread. But when I get a field goal and a hook, it is really hard for me to pass that up. I'm going to take New Mexico plus the 3.5 at UMass. Florida Atlantic versus Illinois. We've seen a ton of movement here because 78% of the money is on Illinois. That just moved the number from minus 13 to minus 16. That's just To me, it's too many points for me. And the last time that we saw Illinois, we saw Luke Altmaier was benched for throwing 4 picks against Penn State. And I don't think people realize just how athletic the Owls are. They have a ton of athleticism. They're a fast team. I know Casey Thompson is out with this for the season with a knee injury, but if you look at Daniel Richardson, who will be the quarterback there, he's a redshirt junior from Central Michigan. He's not a brand new kid. In fact, he threw for 2,600 yards for Central Michigan. He's been part of 2 bowl games. So, yeah, people see that a quarterback's going to be out. They ultimately say that that's worse than Altmaier throwing 4 picks last week. I'm going to take Central. I'm going to take the points in this game. I just think that this is way too many points, and I think that Florida Atlantic is completely getting disrespected. Next game, Liberty at Florida International. The Flames are minus 9.5 after 83% of the public are on the Panthers. And I know the Panthers are off to a great start. I just can't see them holding down Caden Salter after another terrific performance against Buffalo. FIU has not had a winning season against the number since 2019. They're 15-27 in that span ATS. I'm not putting my cash behind a program that doesn't have a history of winning tickets, and they'll likely have full bellies after an outright win against UConn as a 7-point underdog. Okay, so just to recap our picks, we're going to take Michigan minus 24, Auburn plus 9, New Mexico plus 3.5, crossing our fingers there. It's like betting the Oakland A's, Florida Atlantic plus 16, and Liberty minus 9.5. That does it for today's Against the Public show. Remember, go to pickdawgz.com, get my college football 3-pack for $54.99, or purchase my individual plays. Every play comes with our win guarantee. If you don't profit, you get an immediate site credit that you can apply to another capper, or hopefully come back to me if we don't get a W. Either way, please make sure that you get involved this weekend. We got the best cappers in the world on our site, and we really appreciate your time. Before I go, in kind of that vein, I sincerely want to say thank you for putting your trust behind me today. Thank you for doing it tomorrow. The response has been absolutely overwhelming between sales and the comments on YouTube. I appreciate it. And let's keep this thing rolling. I'm Dana Lane. All the best to you and your wagers this weekend.